Jim. Just because it looks like you're doing something if you're moving papers. Okay, this is the second time I've done this talk, and I think I'm pretty well prepared here. So this talk is called Rescuing America, Restoring Normalcy and Winning the Culture War. Okay, I thought it would be something small, something easy to do. Let's do something that's doable. This is painter's tape. It will come off the wall with just a little bit of paint. No, just joking. So, tell you who I am. I'm Paul Abramson. I'm mostly from the West Coast, from the Northwest, from Seattle and Portland. Lived in California also. And then I lived overseas twice. I lived in Germany for 3 years, in Japan for 5 years, traveled all around North America, traveled Western Europe, Southeast Asia, been lots of places. Last year I was in Israel for a month on an archaeological dig, and I've been blessed to do a number of things. I was brought here 2.5 years ago by a religious school in town, Masters International School of Divinity, and that's where I teach. I kind of teach there now, but I also work for some other organizations. So we are in a culture war. Okay? Again, the title of the talk, Rescuing America, Restoring Normalcy and Winning the Culture War. We're in a culture war, and the problem is we are losing slowly. Every year, we're losing a little bit. And I've had, I think a lot of us have had, obviously, time to think about this, but partly because of living outside of America for 8 years of my adult life, you get to see the United States from the outside. And one of the things, of course, you appreciate it. But also, then it got me to think about things because you meet foreign people, and particularly after they've had too many beers to drink, they start asking hard questions. Say, why does America do this, right? And so you're the representative, you're the American, you got to try and answer that. But the left wing, the other guys, I'm going to assume some of you guys are at least moderate or maybe towards the right side just a little bit. They mostly control the media, right? They mostly control the media, the schools, and the courts. Not completely, but I mean, there's a strong leftward leaning, as I look at the news, in what's out in most of the newspapers, in the weekly news magazines, in what's on TV in the news, in even what's in specials like on PBS, Discovery Channel, History Channel, stuff like that. And that is driving, what it's doing is it's educating people in a particular direction, and it's also, to some degree, shutting down the debate. And our voices are not always being heard. In this culture war, it not just affects America, it affects the whole world, because America is so powerful and influential in the world. In Tokyo, they play, you can get on satellite or cable news, you can get the American news channels. You get the nightly news, it's played in the morning, but America's reach, cultural reach goes out. Our movies are what play around the world more than anyone else. And it shows, within months you got this ripple effect. Spider-Man comes out, and then these things from American culture are going out around the world. Star Wars, Star Trek, all these different things. They're the Westerns. And so it has a huge effect in the world. But you've got the two Americas going out. On the left wing, for many of the movies, you've got lots of sex and violence. In the news, then you've got like an anti-American bias, say, blame America first view in the news. On the other side, the right wing, I would contend, we are for exporting the rule of law. We want to lift up other countries, other cultures, bring them to a level where the average person can have the right to make an informed right to vote. That's hard to do in some countries, as we know, like Iraq or something like that. But we also then send out missionaries. We keep the shipping lanes safe. There's a lot of things America does that the world today would not be the way it is if it wasn't for our protection, for the U.S. Navy out there, for the power that the U.S. government exerts to help maintain order in the world. Okay? But we're slowly losing the culture war, and at the same time that we have the world's most powerful military, on the outside, on the inside, we're becoming more and more, I would say, as a culture, becoming more corrupted, more pulled down, mired down into weirdness, sexual perversions, lower expectations, lower value for human life. And so this is a serious problem. Okay, so The three strong suits that the left-wingers have is the left-wing media, the general media, the school system for the most part, and the courts. And so what I want us to do, what I want to discuss tonight, is how to break their power on all three of them. Now this will take us years, but I think I know what we need to do this. We've got to turn this around or our republic will fall. And if America falls, the rest of the world almost can't recover. Who's going to stand in the gap? China? Europe? Russia? Who's going to stand in the gap and defend the shipping lanes or defend the rule of law? No one else. Not even the Canadians. They've already passed their hate crime stuff, hate speech type stuff, right? You don't have full freedom of speech in Canada anymore. So what they want to do often with the news is they want to mold public opinion rather than inform us. It's a very different way of thinking than I think than what we need to have and what we used to have. So let's see. First thing is you and I need to change our news sources. Just a moment here. Are you waving to me, the man with the camera? No? Okay. Look at the people in the camera. Hello. Hey, I forgot to tell a joke. Let me tell you guys a joke, okay? It has nothing to do with the talk, but, you know, jokes are sometimes good. Okay, everybody knows who Bill Gates is. He has like $50 or $60 billion, right? Not millions, but 50, 60 billion dollars. You know what Bill Gates says when he's having a bad day? He says, I feel like $1 million bucks. One of my favorite jokes. Okay, so I would say the first step we need to do is if you are paying for them to deceive us, stop doing that. If you're subscribing to newspapers or magazines, news magazines, or other things that we know that they're twisting the news just a little bit on a daily or a weekly level, either get it for free or get it cheaply. Like I bought a couple issues of Time magazine at St. Vincent de Paul down on Walnut Street for 15 cents each. Woo! Anyway, so I mean, because I wanted to look at what they were saying, not that I was going to glean how is it they're trying to change people's opinion on these things. But we have plenty of good news sources, and I know most of these are going to be known to you, and hopefully you're listening to them, using them. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, National Review. Do you ever read the editorials on National Review online? Man, they got excellent editorials. I go there about once a week during lunch and read what they're talking about. Really good editorials. Whistleblower Magazine, brought a copy of that tonight. World Magazine. Maybe I'll pass this around. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I'm going to mention this later. One of the things on the cover, this is from last year. These are people holding up a sign that says, "This is our continent, not yours." We planted a flag and then we left. It's our continent. Anyway, so you can take a look at this. Let me just pass it around if you want to glance at it and stuff. But there's also World Magazine, which is out there. It's a very good magazine. Take a look at it. There's Drudge Report. Now, none of these no news source is perfect, right? But some of them are going to give you much more contrasting opinions, or at least a variety of information. If you're only going to things like MSNBC or ABC News or CBS, you're getting a certain way of thinking. You're getting Bernard Goldberg's book, Bias. I was trying to get it to the library, so I can bring a copy here, but it's been checked out and stuff. But anyway, there's some excellent quotes in there. He worked for CBS for many years, and just he calls them the news mafia. He calls them. He has several names for them in there. Anyway, but I would say get your news from multiple sources, particularly at least hear stuff. You can't consider an idea unless you think about it, unless you've heard it first.